Hello Netians, my name is Josh Player, and welcome back to videos that are not Draft League, which I'm gonna try and do now, instead of just what I always do, which is upload a bunch of Draft League and never do anything else. What is up? Welcome to, as you can see, a tier list, a new type of video that I've never done. I actually thought about doing these kind of videos with like Little Cup when I was like super into Little Cup draft, but the video I was gonna do before ended up getting torched because I didn't record my audio and I didn't feel like recording it for a fourth time. So here we are on Tier Maker. Please, if you don't mind, tell me what you think about this video as you watch it, and make sure to leave a like and make sure to sub, because these things help me out, because I'm trying to make 400 subs by the end of the year and I got like 3 days and I have like 11 subs to go. So I'm here's hoping, pray. So we're here on Tier Maker. And if you can tell by the title, we're here to rank Smogon OU Pokemon based on Draft League. So something I should preface this with. I might do the other version in the future. This is going to be standard Sword and Shield OU, the official OU, not Natdex, OU Pokemon tier list, and OU or UUBL, whichever it is, whatever it's called, the ban list for UU. All those Pokemon are down here, and I'm going to rank and talk about their how they stack up in Draft League, which is going to be the same format. It's going to be Galardex Draft League, and if this does well, we can do UU, and if it does well, also we can do Natdex or whatever we want. I'm going to try and do these kind of videos one time a week, and that's going to be on Wednesdays, which you're seeing this now unless you're watching it in the future, in which case, hello. And on Fridays, I'm going to try and bring back Wi-Fi battles for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So that's the goal. So, without further ado, let's dive into this. So, obviously, I can't do this if I don't have some kind of credential. I've been playing Draft League for 6 years, and I have 8 championships in the game, 20 appearances in finals. I'd like to say that I have the credentials to talk about this, even though I haven't been doing the greatest recently in some leagues. I am doing a lot better in higher caliber leagues like BBL Arceus. Which I also did well in last season. So we're gonna go through these 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 42, about 50 Pokemon. And we're going to rank them based on Draft League. And again, this is my own personal opinion, although I will try to be a little bit more objective than I have to be. Otherwise, if you know me, there's one certain Pokemon that I would just dunk in D tier because I hate it. Anyway, starting off, Alolan Ninetales. So Alolan Ninetales is an interesting Pokemon. It can do a couple different things. You know, it has the Aurora Veil set. It has, it can set up Hail in case you want to run like a Hail Core. It can be offensive with Nasty Plot or Specs or whatever. Generally, though, it's pretty, you know what's going to happen. You're going to deal with maybe Veil, you're going to deal with Hail, you're going to deal with offensive Ice and Fairy moves. Encore, it's not the greatest, I'll be honest. It's an okay mon, but it's not the most amazing Pokemon to ever exist. And there's definitely, like, a lot better picks in general. Especially since this would be your Fairy type, unless you go double Fairy. You don't really want your Fairy type to be so unbearably weak. Especially with no hidden powers, so it can't hit stuff like Scizor. Yeah, it just doesn't do it. Zam is an interesting one. It's very mixed. I think it's more of what you make it. How good you are with Zam kind of just affects, you know, where it's going to be placed. And like people who are really, really good with Zam, people who love offensive Psychic types, you know, it's like up here, right? But in general, I think the consensus is more like around this area. And I kind of want to put it in like a B+, because like I'm not a huge fan of Zam, and I think that's fine. I could definitely see people like saying like, oh, it's A-, right? But I wouldn't say so. I'm not, like, gunning Zam. We know what Zam's going to do, and that's kind of... although it's, like, really good at what it does get held back by the fact that it only does so much, right? It's either Sash or Life Orb, maybe Scarf or something, and it runs offensive moves, and maybe runs Nasty Claw, and it runs Encore, and that's basically it. So, I mean, it's fast, it's nice, and the Galadex 120 speed's pretty okay. The tier, the tier is like now faster, or the meta is now like a lot faster than it was when Galadex first came out. When Galadex first came out, I'd put it like here, maybe S-, because like 120 base speed was ridiculously blitzing fast because there's no Pokemon. So it's an okay Pokemon. Arctozolt, I mean, you gotta have Hail for it. It does really well when its matchup is there. When its matchup is there, it's super, super good. I've gotten messed up by Arctozolt before. I know a lot of people have. But 55 base speed is something that you can plan around. 55 base speed is 229 at level 100. 458 at Hail. And that's not too hard to get over with a Choice Scarf. A base 100 will get over it with a Choice Scarf. A base 90 will get over this with a Choice Scarf. So it's not like it's always impossible to deal with. And in physical walls in general, as long as they're not weak to the stab, can kind of deal with it to an extent. So it's not, like, amazing, but, like, with the right support, you have to support it well. With the right support, it can be kind of a threat, but it's not like you don't look at a team and you just go, oh, Arctozolt, unless you have, like, 6 Ice Weeks. So it's an okay mon. Barraskewda, I think, is kind of like Arctozolt in where, you know, it's easy to play around and everything, but Barraskewda is better standalone. While it's not this crazy, amazing, super good mon, it's still 132 base speed, which is one of the fastest in the Galadex tier, or meta. Still super strong, and can still function without rain. Even though it just loves rain, it can still function very, very fine without it. Just offensive water move like Liquidation, Flip Turn, and then whatever 2 coverage moves you have, and it's faster than your opponent's team unless they're Scarfed. I've used it before without rain. It was fine, although I didn't have a lot of success with it. But every time that I didn't have success with it, it's because people like made specific lures for it, like Pasho Berries or Chople Berries for close combat, etc. It's a fine mon, but it's not like that good standalone. Huh. Oh, Bisharp. Where do I want to put Bisharp? Do I want to be nice? Or do I want to be like awful? It's like Bisharp's not that good. I'll be upfront. Bisharp is not that good. I'll be awful. I'm sorry to Bisharp fans, but Bisharp is not it. Bisharp is not it. Like, it's fine. It's an okay Pokemon at times, but like, this is now your Steel type. And again, unless you double up on types, which is whatever, this is your Steel type, and it doesn't resist Fairy, and it doesn't really resist too much because it gets taken down so easy. And this is also your Dark type, which is very, very important in Draft League. Like, you need a Dark type, otherwise you're gonna get messed up by setup Psychic types, unless you have a lot of good ways to stop setup Psychic types from running Stored Power. And even if they want to run that, they can still run that. All they need is any fighting move, because you're gonna die to it. So it's just like, it's almost every chance that you have, you're always better off getting a better Dark or getting a better Steel. Even Pokemon that are rated lower than this thing on like points-based stuff is better to have than this. Blacephalon's not actually terrible. I'm seeing a lot more Blacephalons get drafted, and this is a terrifying Pokemon. Obviously, it's easy to like play around because it's weak to some of like the stabs, like the priorities like Sucker Punch and Aqua Jet, so it can be easy to revenge. And everyone's gonna have a ground, so they have like ways to hit offensively. And Dark types are super common, and Water types are super common, but it's still so strong. Like, this is a threatening mon. Like, I've always scared of this mon when I have to face it, unless I have like the counter, like I have a Salt Vest Dragalge or something, or God, what can actually beat this? I mean, not really even Heatran. I guess Snorlax. Snorlax is a fine answer. Unless you have like a really dedicated answer, this is super, super good, and this is just like a spammable mon, especially with no Pursuit. If Pursuit was still in the game, like, I'd put it like down here because it's easy just to revenge it. But with no Pursuit, this thing is so free to bring it in, click Shadow Ball, click something, blow something back, and run away, and do it again later. Very, very good mon. Okay, so this is because Galadex Smogon thinks this Pokemon is like apparently garbage. This is Speed Boost Blaziken, and yeah, no. Hell no. Hell no. In Draft League, this thing is like the most base Pokemon. Like this is literally like I'm pretty sure this is like a might be a silver in BBL. Oh, I can actually check. I can actually check for y'all right now. Yeah, it's a silver in BBL. It's not even a bronze. Like, and this is Natdex. This is Natdex, and it's still silver. Like, get this Pokemon out of here. This is probably the best Pokemon on the list. Like, without question. There's like one or two mons that you could question it with, but this is just like ridiculous, right? This is an absolutely idiotic mon to have in Draft League because yeah, you can prep for it to an extent, but only to an extent, and like you can't outspeed it. It's gonna get faster than you, and it's kind of stronger. It's ridiculously strong, so it like breaks through walls pretty well. So unless you have like a really good dedicated answer to it, you're done. Really, really good mon. Blissey, I'm not about, but I know it's been like seeing a lot more usage. I'll say C because it is kind of passive. It does have some instances where it's pretty good, like a good rocker and stuff, but like it's setup fodder. Like you know what's gonna happen. You know that it's just gonna run fat. It's not gonna be able to break subs. It's gonna just like let your opponent set up. So you got to be careful around that. And you have to plan specifically around that. Otherwise, it's a pretty decent mon, but like it's too much of a liability at times. Like I drafted it and I thought I knew how to like make it non-liability, and I still had to leave it at home or play specifically around it. Teleport, I guess with teleport it can be like up here, but even still, then I'm not like too happy about it. I don't know. I wouldn't be upset if someone put it in B minus, just because like it can be a really good mon, but like, eh. Well, I guess this is Galar deck, so it's not like it's as. I'll still leave it there. There's a lot of fighting types running around Galar decks right now. Speaking of a fighting type, Buzzwole. This is a stupid Pokemon. This is so good. Like Buzzwole is so good. It has so many good offensive sets. It has so many good defensive sets because of its wide coverage. Like you can run Choice Band, you can run offensive Roost Life Orb, you can run Scarf, you can run physically defensive special, you can run Assault Vest if you want for like that one specific threat. And like, yeah, people are just, you can just like run special moves to try and get around it. But its bulk is so nice that it still takes a special move if you need it to. Like, so all you have to do is plan around it. It's super strong, it's super threatening. Even though fairies are like one of the most common types in the game, it's still fine. Everyone carries a steel type. Everyone carries some way to deal with fairies. So this is a fine Pokemon to have on any team. Ah, the Blob. Great mon. Great mon. Even though it's like fallen from grace a little bit because of even though it's like a fallen from grace because Clefable isn't as good as it used to be, and like there's like slowly starting to become mons that are better than it, even though they're not fairies. This is still like the best fairy of the game. It depends. I don't know if I'd say it's the best fairy in the game anymore. But it's still really good, right? It still takes the hits that you need it to. It still sets up rocks. It still calm minds and wins. It still runs like snarky like life orb sets to break down stuff. It's still an amazing Pokemon, and just because it's now like going round 2 instead of round 1 like I saw in the past, so good. Still so good. Still just one of the best mons, and still going to carry that legacy for a long time. Corviknight. Now, I like Corviknight a lot. I love Corviknight. I've won a championship with Corviknight, and I've actually won my semifinals of that game, of that league, with Bulk Agility Corviknight. But I see it just being... I'll put it in A-, because I still think it's really good. But, like, people don't use this thing as versatile as it can be, other than, like, Amel, who ran, like, Choice Band, I think. I think that's him. I remember seeing someone ran, like, Choice Band Corviknight. But, like, this gets a lot of setup moves. Defog, U-turn, mirror armor, all kinds of, like, niche little things that can make, like, a lot of versatile sets. And all I see is body press, U-turn, roost, defog, or taunt, and click, bring in, U-turn, go into something else. Like, this is a fun Pokemon. Like, you can set up really, really easy with this. Bulk up, Iron Defense, Power Trip, Agility, stuff like this. Like, all this stuff can really work out really, really well. Just people don't use it to its fullest extent. But it's a great Steel type. A great Steel type. Steel Flying is obviously one of the best defensive typings in the game. As you can see, anytime a Pokemon has it, it's just amazing. Celesteela, Skarmory, Corviknight, all really, really good. And this is like a really nice in between where it's just like it's physically and especially defensive bulky, but it also has Roost, unlike Celesteela, which makes it really nice. And U-turn on Steel Flying is so good. Love this mon. Dracozolt, I think, is a little bit better than Arctozolt just because it can function a little bit without the weather. It doesn't need sand to be good, and it just hits so hard. The problem with this over it's not even here. That's right, Dracovish got banned. Nice. The problem with this over Dracovish though is that I used it, but I didn't really like it. The problem with this over Dracovish is that both its like hard-hitting moves, one can miss because it's Hustle and not Strong Jaw, but have type immunities. Like, yeah, Dracovish, people always say just like bring Water Absorb, but Water Absorb isn't that common. The ground types are obscenely common. Everyone gets a ground type. Everyone gets ground types. So you're constantly having to like run like mixed Life Orb or whatever, or catch them with a Draco or something. So it always just like hurts this mon so bad to have to run stuff like that and never gets to shine as well as it can. Dragapult. God, I would get so much hate if I did not put that thing at the top tier. I know it. I know. I've used Dragapult. It's so good. It's so good. And like, it shouldn't. It's so weird to me because like, it's so versatile when it shouldn't be. Like, it's literally just a fast Kapowmon. It shouldn't have that many sets. It should just be like offensive physically, offensive specially, done. But you can run physical Life Orb, you can run special Life Orb, you can run Mix, you can run Sub Hex with Thunder Wave or Wisp, or you can run with Toxic Spikes and run Sub Protect. You can run DD, you can run Sub Disable, you can run Specs, you can run Band to KO Mandibuzz, you can run Scarf to outspeed whatever you need, Infiltrator, and Curse Body and Clear Body, I think is what else it gets, because it can avoid like Sticky Web, so you don't always have to run Boots. And it can run Boots though if you want, and run Infiltrator and avoid Spikes and Toxic Spikes, and it's so versatile. It's ridiculous. I know when someone gave me a mock, I ran like fully physically defensive Dragapult because I had a different win con, and I set up webs and I used this to spin block against a Donphan, and it worked. And I beat the Donphan very, very quickly, and like I steamrolled because it worked. It's so fast that it can run so much bulk without any consequences. Such a good mon. So good, and definitely one of, but not the best Pokemon in Draft League. Dragonite. This is a weird one. I've only used this mon like one time, and I used it like kind of bad. But I know some people who will give me shit if I put it down here. I'm putting it down here. I don't care. It does a lot, but it's not perfect at anything it does. Its best set, obviously, is like Choice Band or Dragon Dance. But, you know, you can run the defensive set, like the bulky one, the Defog Roost, Thunder Wave, kind of stuff like that. You can run special if you want. When this thing had Z-moves, it would be like up here, but it doesn't. So it's down here in the abyss where it belongs. But it's like an okay mon. Really versatile when it needs to be, but again, it's matchup dependent as hell. And once its multi-scale gets broken, it's kind of just like a done deal, in my opinion. It doesn't get extreme speed, but it's strong, but I don't know if it's strong enough to be like fine against stuff like Ice Shard right? Not everything that it can extreme speed, not everything that's going to be trying to ice shard it is really going to care about ice, like extreme speed. Mammoth Line, Dawn Fan definitely not going to care about extreme speed. Flashblast does not give a shit about extreme speed, stuff like that, etc., etc. It's an okay mon. Ferrothorn, easy S-. I've used this thing numerous times. It's so good, and especially without hidden power, because like hidden power fire can't just like cop it every time. But like, even though it has a 4 times weakness to fire, it's such a good spike setter. It's such a good hazard setter. It's such a good. It causes so much chip. It's just such a good mon. It can curse if you really want to, but it doesn't need to be. This is just a mon that has mastered its specific trade. It's defensive, it's fat, it gets its hazards, it leech seeds, it stops Pokemon from sweeping. It's a very, very good mon, and I cannot see this thing ever not being just like immediately draftable. The only like bad thing is that it's your grass and it's not weak to not weak to ground, or it's not resistant to ground. Jesus. So that kind of holds it back, but it's definitely a really, really good mon and just a super nice hazard setter. Oh god. I have talked so much shit about this Pokemon. So much shit. I have degraded it to hell and back until I'm blue in the face. And then I used it. And I'm going to get some flack for this. But I have become that which I hate the most. A Slowking stan. I used this 1 week in BBL or CS with Ubers, and immediately I was just like, yeah, no, this is one of the best Pokemon to ever exist. It is so ungodly, idiotically strong and fat. Not really strong, but fat. For no reason. It has no business being this fat. But it is. I ran this as my Chandelure answer because it didn't get 2 KO'd by Shadow Ball from Scarf Chandelure, because Scarf was like really good versus me. Am I gonna get shit for putting in above Clefable? Yeah. Do I give a shit? No. This Pokemon is actually super fucking heat. and like, it's so weird that it's just so good for very little reason. Because, like, regular Slowking, you can switch in so many special walls and just stop it. But the thing about it is, other than, like, Blissey, you know what most people's special walls are? Fairy types. It's a damn good fairy killer, I'll tell you that. It's a damn good fairy killer. And it has Fire Blast for steals, which is also, like, special walls. So, yeah, it's gotten the praise. I still think some people might overhype it, but, I mean, look where I'm putting it. So, phenomenal, amazing Pokemon. Hell the fuck yes. Gyarados. I don't think I used it well, and I want to put it here, because I think it's really, really good. I think it's really strong. I always have a bitch of a time dealing with it. But I don't know. I didn't feel as hyped for it. I just feel like people were just like Rocky Helmeting their ways to like not dealing with it anymore. So I'm not entirely. I don't know. I'll put it here. I feel like that's like the best place for it. But it's stupid strong. It's so stupid strong. Fine is so nice, so you can't switch in your Intimidators to it. If it got Roost, definitely here, maybe here. Roost would make it so much better. I can run like Brave Bird, Thunderous Kick, U-turn, Roost. I guess I just got so much bad matchups with it. Otherwise, I put it there because I still liked it when I used it, but I'm leaving it there. Oh, the other mon I'm going to get so much flack for. Listen, if I had it my way, I'd put this thing down here. Because I hate this Pokemon. I hate Garchomp so much. I think this Pokemon is so fucking overhyped in Draft League. People act like it's here. This is why I hate it. If people acted like it goes where it went, I wouldn't be that upset. I'd still be thinking it's like kind of overhyped because in my personal opinion, it's like top of B plus minus of bottom of A minus. But if people respected it where it was, which is like right here, I wouldn't give them so much shit. I hate Garchomp. I don't know what to tell you. I never think it's strong enough to what I need it to do. I always feel like I'm never getting off what I need to. It doesn't have Dragon Dance, so I can't like use it as a sweeper. Because I feel like it's too easy to stop the sweep as long as your opponent plays smart enough around it. And in all my time, people don't play Garchomp well enough against me, so I never feel like it's worth a damn. I'll put it here to appease the masses. But it belongs down here because it's a shit-ass mon. That's all I'm going to say. You can flame me in the comments if you want. I will welcome it with open arms and 2 middle fingers risen high into the air. Gengar, also right here. Really strong mon. No. I don't know. Gengar's like so good. Gengar's like really good, especially without Pursuit. I haven't gotten a chance to use it, so I'm kind of like hard pressed on it. But I always feel like I find a way around it when I face it, either with a Scarfer or just like Resist Berry and move on. So it's not strong enough to like power through like Resist Berries, but it's still a really good mon. I'd say it's like peak A+ tier, in my opinion. Hawlucha also like peak A+ tier. It does function pretty well on its own, but it has to be set up to really do anything. In my opinion, Choice Band sets are fine. I've run Choice Band before. I think they're fine, but like I always needed like terrain support, or I needed to get set up for it to actually like go through. Once it gets set up, it's really, really amazing, and it's so hard to stop because it's done snowballed and you're out of luck. But it takes a lot of consideration to stop it once it gets going. It's really, really hard to not lose to it once you start losing to it. I don't know how really to describe it, but it's just a really good mon. But like I said, it needs the support. It needs too much support to like make it to S-, in my opinion. Heatran I think is S-. I think Heatran is super, super, super good, especially without hidden power, so it can't be hidden power grounded. I feel like this is just the Pokemon that just takes all kinds of hits for literally no reason. Its bulk is fine, but it just takes hits over and over and over for no reason, and I see it in Ubers a lot on Sun teams. I used it on an Uber Sun team because Specs Overheat or Specs Eruption is just so dumb. It's so strong in the Sun. Flash Fire is really, really nice. Great defensive typing, great offensive typing, great stats, just great, phenomenal mon. If you ever give this thing Shore Up or Recover or anything, I swear to God I will have it banned in every single league that I can get it in. Hippowdon is kind of like B+. It's a really good mon, but if you're looking for a good ground type, I think you can just get a better one somewhere else, like Gliscor or Orlando, stuff like that. I think you can always just get better ground types or better value ground types. One of the two. Unless you're going sand. But if you're going sand, like get Gigalith or get Tyranitar. Like it's like the worst sand setter in my opinion, unless you're going Dracozolt. In which case I think it's pretty okay. It's a really good wall and it's hard to get around sometimes, but standalone, it's not amazingly special. It's just a fat ground with rocks and recover. Kartana. I'm always scared of Kartana. I think it's just a nice win con constantly and always. No. I'm not going to pull the trigger. Because I don't think I've ever lost to Kartana. I might have lost like once to Kartana. But maybe once. but it's just so specially weak. It's so easy to revenge with, like, Vacuum Wave or any special, like, something like that, or just any special moves, like Sash or Resist Berry. But, God, it's so strong. And it's just a nice win con to always have. Even if you already have a different win con, it's a good, nice secondary win con to have in the back. It's a really, really good mon. Really, really love this mon. Komodo. I'll leave you there. Some people might not agree with that, but I think this is... I just think this is like a really, really good Dragonite, right? I could see it like up here. Not up here. I know some people like juice this mon up. I think it's a jack of all trades, but a master of none, right? And it's just way better at it than Dragonite. Like, it can do whatever you need. Physically defensive, specially defensive, physical offense, special offense, Scarf specs, Life Orb, mixed offense, rocks leads, all kinds of setup potential. I think it is just a beautiful example of a jack of all trades, but master of none. Because it always like kind of struggled with fairy types. It's so easy just to like run a resist or just run a fairy and stop it, or run something fast because it's not too fast. Very, very nice mon. Love this mon. I think it's really, really good, but I just can't put it higher than A-. I'm not putting this thing in S+. I love Lando, but it's not what it was. With Z-moves, it's there, and high, and higher, and higher, and only beaten by, like, one mon. But, I mean, it's still a really good mon, right? Stealth Rocks, SD, Rock Polish, Calm Mind if you want to be, like, cheeky. I know it's weird just to say how good Scarf Lando is, because, like, yeah, it's Scarf Lando, and everyone knows about Scarf Lando, but, like, Scarf Lando's so dumb good. It's so weird how good Scarf Lando is, in my opinion. Because, like, all your ground types don't... This is, like, the only ground type that really gets U-turn. And it's, like, worth a damn. So, like, having Scarf EQ at your disposal whenever you want, but you can U-turn out, knock off, have coverage move, etc. And, like, Landorus is one of those mons that can run a Scarf, but just run whatever in the last slot. It can run Stealth Rocks, it can run Defog, it can run Toxic, it can run Explosion, it can run whatever, because all you're going to need is Earthquake, U-turn, and then your one coverage move. Phenomenal mon. Always love using Lando. Really, really good mon. Latios. I don't know, I don't like Latios that much. I love Latios. Love me some Latios. But I don't love Latios as much. I think I think it's right for me to put it, like, up here. But I always struggle with Latios, I feel. I always just feel like whenever I have it, I wish I had Latios. It's a really good mon. And just like Latios, what I'm going to say is that it's a really, really good offensive typing. Soldew being what it is now is super, super nice. Fast mon, fast defog, fast healing wish or memento for supporting the team. Can run a lot of sets. Obviously, I think Latios just does it better because it's stronger and breaks better with, like, Specs or Soldew or Life Orb. But I think they're both phenomenal Pokemon. Magnezone. Alright, Jack, if you're watching, I'm talking directly to you when I say this shit. This is a fine Pokemon. It's okay. But some people overhype the shit out of this thing. Why the hell did you draft this in BBL? I don't even like Magnezone, I'll be honest. If you're going to run something, just run Magneton. It's better value, in my opinion. It can run Analytic better. It can run Scarf better, in my opinion. If you're going to try and trap Steel types, I think you're just better off with Magneton or just Shadow Tag. Like, they're going to run... If they need their Steel type, they're going to run Shed Shell on it. And it's... There are some grounds that can break through pretty easily, but it's so easy to just a Shed Shell, go into ground, and then stop, and then you're in the back. I don't like this Pokemon in Draft League. I think it's too easy to get around. Just meh. Nope. Melmetal. I feel like I'm, like, overloading A+, right? But, like, this is OU, so, like, obviously that's going to be how it is. I'll move you down, because fuck you. But Melmetal is really, really good. Obviously, the best fairy killer in the game, in my opinion. Even though, like, I hype up Slowking, and, you know, you got Heatran up here, I think this is the best fairy killer in the game. It's so much immediate, scary offense. Like, a lot of fairies, unless like Heatran's Life Orb respects, a lot of fairies aren't gonna be always afraid. Like, they might be able to take one hit from Heatran and Thunder Wave it or knock it off or whatever they want. They do not want to attempt to take anything from Melmetal. Melmetal is immediate, scary, and you have to get out of there. A lot of different stats. Choice Band is obviously ridiculously, unbearably strong. Assault Vest is always so common. Iron Defense Body Press, Resto Chesto, stuff like that. All good sets. Really, really nice mon. Love it, love it, love it. It is the best Pokemon in Draft League. Fuck you, fight me. It does whatever you need, whenever you need it, however you need it. It is a jack of all trades, and it's a master of so many. I don't think it's the best mon in BDSP because it's lost a lot of stuff, right? I think there's a lot of BDSP mons that are like getting better than it because of how much it just does not have anymore. But in Gen 8, in Sword and Shield, with all the ridiculous amount of things that this has, Nasty Plot, Dragon Dance, setup, out the ass, coverage moves, and it's not just that it has all the coverage moves, because it's always had coverage moves, right? But now it has so much stronger coverage moves. And Dragon Dance, I think, is such a fucking insane set that I love running. Its moves are so high powered. Close Combat, Earthquake, Triple Axle, Flare Blitz. It got Psychic Fangs now, but it's not that strong. But it's still, like, good because it gets stabbed. So that's 127.5 base power. Like, it has so much higher base power moves because with this, and I think that makes it all the difference. And you run Nasty Plot if you want, and run, like, Vacuum Wave or Calm Mind, and Cosmic Power is always a thing. Sub-Cosmic Power, Taunt, bulky sets. I've run Spikes and Toxic Spikes lead. I've run Scarf all kinds of times. It is the most versatile mon. It is the best mon in Draft League. I don't give a shit if you disagree. Fuck you, fight me. Mienshao. Mienshao I actually hype up a lot. Mienshao is... I've been seeing so much more usage out of Mienshao recently, although most of it's because Matt O'Shea spams the shit out of it. But it's a really, really good mon. I always love seeing Mienshao in Ubers, because whenever someone faces a Greninja, unless they have, like, the Greninja answer, you use Mienshao. You run fast, but Assault Vest Mienshao, and you take the Hydros, and you U-turn out, because it's gonna be afraid of you, and then you regenerate it all back. It's so fun. I love Mienshao. And it's so strong, too. Like, Reckless High Jump Kick with Choice Band or Life Orb is so insanely strong. It's so strong. I loved like Reckless I loved Reckless like Hitmonlee and spamming that before, but like Mienshao is so good. And it's so much faster, so Scarf sets are like much better. Band sets, Fake Out if you really want, etc. Swords Dance, super good. Love this mon. Pelipper, this is weird because this is like on its own, this is like below Magnezone. But like, I'm gonna put it in B+, just because it's such a phenomenal range setter. But like, it doesn't do much on its own. Like, it's a fine on its own. It's kind of cool, you know. Offensive Pelipper sets can go wild sometimes, but like, you get Pelipper for the rain. It's a setter. It's the best weather setter that's ever been in the game, other than of course Kyogre and Groudon. But really good. Love this. I think B+ is a fine tier for it. Rillaboom. Now, we all know I love me some Rillaboom. Definitely not A-. I'm going to put it here. I love me some Rillaboom. Rillaboom's really good. It's super strong. It can be pretty fat. It's a part of my favorite team of all time, which is my UBL Season 5 team. I think Season 5. Season 5 or Season 4. But I loved Rillaboom. I paired it with Hawlucha. I thought it was super good. It's a mon that doesn't need as much support because Grass Move, go boo, and just knock everything out with Wood Hammer. Or you can run U-turn. It can be like a supportive set. It can be a good ground resist. It gets a lot of good coverage. A lot of versatility. Stuff like taunt, I'm pretty sure. It gets swords dance, bulk up, stuff like that. U-turn is really, really nice to have on this, so you can U-turn out into whatever threat you need to, whatever way you have to pressure the steel types, or like the Arcanines or whatever, stuff like that. And Grass Glide is just a really nice priority move. I love priority spam. Scizor. Now, Scizor is a really nice mon. Although it doesn't have the bulk of Mega Scizor, which kind of helps it out. It does have the more versatility with more items, like Akaberry, which is Matt O'Shea's favorite item. Bullet Punch is really, really good. We just talked about how we had strong priority here. This is also extremely strong priority. Choice Band Bullet Punch is obviously one of the, up until like we got Grassy Glide, it was like the strongest priority of the game. Woo. And yes, I know like Choice Band Extreme Speed, but like listen, with stab and everything, no. It was Choice Band Bullet Punch. Really, really good mon. Pretty versatile, although without, like I said, the mega stats, it's not as bulky, and there's a lot of ways to overpower it really quick. But a good mon. A nice addition to any team, in my opinion. Slowbro. I think with Teleport, it could be like S-. Because it just takes hits so well, and the things that it needs to stop, it doesn't feel like it needs Assault Vest as much as like how Slowking needs Assault Vest at times, and can teleport so much freely. Thunder Wave is always nice. Like, it feels like you have more options to do stuff because you're not forced into any specific item. Great physical wall. Teleport just made this thing so much better. Because it's always in the mind games to me. Like, I always feel like I'm being played. I'm always playing mind games with Slowbro. Tapu Fini. I want to put this in S- so bad. Do you like me some Tapu Fini? I'll put in... I did say there was a Pokemon that I thought was a better fairy type than Clefable, and I think it's Tapu Fini, even doesn't get recovery. I just think Tapu Fini is a better overall mon. Yeah, we can leave it there. That can be my personal bias. I think Tapu Fini is amazing. And the only reason I don't draft as much is because I always use like grounded offensive dragon types. Like Dialga or something, and I'm just like, well, it's gonna hurt my Draco, so I might as well not. But a good mon. Iron Defense, Calm Mind, Draining Kiss. This is a bitch set that you see more and more recently. It's just such a dirty ass set, and people who run it are assholes. I'm always trying to make it work, but I can never get it off. But it still runs like a lot of other good stuff, like Scarf. It can run a Trick, to be a good stall breaker. Nature's Madness is super, super good. And even it's like very deceptively strong, in my opinion. Like, you always think that you're gonna switch it on this thing as attack and it's gonna do like 0, right? But it still does like a good chunk. It's very, like I said, it's just very deceptively strong. Defog setup sets, stuff like that, always really nice. It just sucks that I can't rest, or doesn't get recovery, or it'd be just like the best Pokemon ever. Oh, Tapu Koko, how you have fallen from grace. No hidden power, no close combat, no play rough. Yo, you know what was crazy? Fake Koko. Now that's a Pokemon I'll tell you was better than you. Fake Koko was the single most idiotic fucking thing I have ever seen in my life. That was the dumbest shit ever. Even without Rising Voltage, this was the dumbest fucking Pokemon ever. But with no hidden power, it's fallen from grace so well. You can even put it in A+, in my opinion. I just think it's still so good in Galar decks because of how fast it is and how just well it can pivot around with U-turn. If it didn't have U-turn, I would think it's just like a dog shit ass mon. I'll be honest. I would probably, without U-turn, I'd probably put it like right here. Maybe right here. Just because it doesn't pivot as well anymore. But still really good mon. Defog, fast defog is always nice. Fast boots is one of my favorite sets. I think it's deceptively bulky. because of how fast it is. You can always just outspeed it, whatever thing it's trying to like pivot into. Great pivot, great setup mon because of stored power, calm mind, iron defense, stuff like that. Love Coco. Think it's a really good mon. Tapu Lele, again, a mon that has fallen from grace. I don't think it's S. I don't think it's done. It does enough standalone to be S. I just think it clicks funny psychic button and does a lot of damage to anything that doesn't resist it. So there's not much to say about Lele. Obviously it got nerfed with the terrain nerf. But Scarf and Specs and Calm Mind are like all you really get with Lele. You know what to expect. You know how to handle it. You know how to deal with it. And it's super strong and one of the hardest monsters to switch into at times. But I just feel like it does not do enough on its own. Terrakion. I think it's A-. I think this is another Pokemon that like does a lot on its own, but it can never get everything it needs off. Because like, you know, this is a great win con. If it could somehow like, if it got like Dragon Dance, I know this is like a random thing, Dragon Dance, Terrakion, but if it got Dragon Dance, I think it'd be like super, super good. But I always feel like you have to be very careful around like Double Dance sets if you want to run that. It's a great choice user, that I will say, but with Double Dance, I feel like it's always like pick one. Like, are you gonna break or are you gonna sweep? Because I never feel like you can get both off. It's just really hard to set both up because the typing is not the greatest and just lets you be weak to so many things. But it's really strong. It's an immediate. I need to be careful of this mon threat even in prep. So I will give it the credit it deserves. And another mon that you got to give credit to is Thundurus Incarnate. I think this has fallen a little bit from grace. Although on like hail teams, I think this is super base because it gets Weather Ball, or rain teams because it gets Weather Ball for the ground types, which is really, really nice. But I do think it's fallen a little bit from grace because it doesn't get hidden power ice anymore. But it's still such a really good, nice mixed offensive mon. And Boots did give it that nice, kind of helps give back where it lost hidden power. Great sweeper, great support mon, great pivot because it still gets U-turn. Yeah, great mon. Tornadus, again, I would be castrated if I didn't put this in S+. It is one of the best mons in the game. It's always a round one pick. Unless you're in like Ubers or something. Super, super good mon. Nasty Plot made this thing ridiculous. Boots made this thing ridiculous. Hurricane, if you can hit it. Super strong coming off this mon. Super fast. Always just feels like it never dies. It just takes and takes and takes. And there's no move that can kill it unless it's like Tapu Koko's Thunderbolt or something. I always feel struggling. I always feel like I'm struggling against this thing. I think it's so, so good. Toxapex. Now, I've used Toxapex, and I like Toxapex. I think it's a fine mon. I do think it's very passive, but I think it can work around that passiveness sometimes, but I don't think it can always. And I think you do get held back a little bit by not being able to... I don't think it's on the same level as the Alolan Ninetales. I think it's better than the Alolan Ninetales. But as long as you know how to use it and not let it be a liability, this is ridiculous. It's so stupid fat. It takes so many hits that it 100% should not take. It's just those low offensive stats that get it sometimes. I don't know if I like putting this one tier above, like in the same realm as... I guess it's fine because I got stuff like Mean Chow here. I think this is like peak B+. Oh, I'm gonna debate over this in my head forever. Forever. I'm gonna put it... It's better than Hippo. But, like... I'll leave it there. And if you think it should be up here, tell me in the comments. Tell me if you think it should be up here. I'd understand if you thought it should be up here. But I'm going to leave it here because I don't think it's as great as a standalone Pokemon. I think it's too easy to like plan around. I think Choice Bait is super strong. But being locked into a move like that and being that slow, I don't think is that like endearing to me. Like obviously Mawile, Mega Mawile is like a really slow Pokemon. but it gets around it because it can switch up its moves, it can set up easily, and this can set up with DD, but I think it's too easy just to out-screed it with a Scarfer, and with fighting types being as common and good as they are in Gallowdex meta, I can't put it. I can't put it in A-. I kind of want to, but like I can't. Urshifu Rapid Strike is getting better and better. I don't know, maybe it could go down here, but I think it's really good. I think, again, because I love watching Matt O'Shea, and he loves me and Xiao, right? And he loves Urshifu Rapid Strike. He loves Matt Urshifu. You know, I've been watching him, and he does use it really, really well. It's a really strong Pokemon. It's a really good offensive water type. Protective Paths means you're not always, like, worrying about Rocky Helmet and stuff. I think it's a great Mon. I think it's a super immediate threat. I think it's one of the better fighting types in the game. It just really depends on what the team format is like. Obviously, Gyapdos can be better and sometimes Hawlucha can be better, but as a standalone Mon, I really just like Urshifu. I think water types are super good. Victini. I wish I could see 2017 Josh watch me put this in anything but S+. Do I think it's S-? I don't think it's S-. I think it's A+. I think it's a really good A+ Mon. I feel like the power creep has hurt it too much. I think that's the only thing, because it didn't get worse, right? It's only gotten better over time because of stuff like boots. But I just feel like the power creep has not given it enough to stay ahead of the game like it did with Mew, or it did with Torn, or it did with like Slowbro and Lando and Clef. So, like, Clef was always just gonna be good, I guess. But like, these Mons were able to stay ahead of the curve, but I don't think Victini was able to keep up. It's still a phenomenal, ridiculous wall breaker. Great typing in Fire Psychic. Really good coverage moves. It doesn't have to worry about him power Ice being nothing because it gets Glaciate. V-Create is still one of the strongest moves in the game, but I don't think it's kept up. I think the power creep has hurt it too much. Now I know some people. Who was it? It's Ben. Good pal Ben. If this was his tier list, everything would be F tier, and Volcarona would be S+. We had him in PGP. He was one of our teammates, and he got his channel created. And the first thing he said, he was like, "We gotta draft this motherfucker." Volcarona is good, but again, I think it's easy to play around as long as you're like aware of it and not just letting it do its thing. As long as you're actively prepping for it, I think it's a really good Mon. But I know that sometimes it can just steamroll and just win games on its own. But I feel like as long as you take into account that this is a threat and you need to be ready for it, and you need to have ways around it, and I always just said, as long as you run a Mon faster than 100, the Rock Slide, you're done. You won. You beat it, and it's not that much of a problem anymore. Boots made it really, really good. I just don't think people have utilized it super well. I feel like people really underutilize Volcarona. Because I feel like they're just too quick to be like, alright, how do I win with Quiver Dance? Like, you can run other stuff other than Quiver Dance. Weavile, Triple Axel made this thing a fucking nightmare. This thing made this thing a bitch. I hate looking at this Pokemon on the other side of the screen. Because I know it's going to click a stupid ass bitch move and kill everything. And I can't ever draft it because I can't hit a Triple Axel to save my life. It's so good. It's kept up with its power creep because it's so fast. And with the meta getting faster, it's good to have these fast Mons. It's super strong. Triple Axel, like I said, is really, really nice. Knockoff still being there makes it always incredible. Zapdos, I don't care. I think Zapdos is one of the best Pokemon in the game to literally ever exist. This thing is so versatile and so strong and so weirdly fat. It should not be as fat as it is, but it is for some reason. For whatever reason, this Mon is stupid fat for literally -2 reason. It doesn't have really the stats to reflect that it's this bulky, but it is, so it do be like that sometimes. Really good offensive Mon. U-turn. Having Hurricane made this thing so stupid. If this thing got Hidden Power Ice, oh my god. Round 1 every time. I've even seen people still round 1 this thing, so it's a phenomenal Mon. I love this thing to death. And then Zeraora, again, it doesn't have Hidden Power anymore, so it's like really messed up by that, which kind of sucks. But it's still a really good Mon, being super fast, having access to Bulk Up and Calm Mind. having a lot of coverage moves. It's just not as strong and doesn't have Z moves anymore. If Z moves were still a thing, I think it'd be able to keep up with the power creep, but I just don't think it's as strong as it needs to be in this current meta. It's sad that I had so many A pluses that it went off thing. Could I move anyone? Could I move like you down to like A minus? Could I? To keep it? Is this like the worst mon? I'd say Buzzwole's like the worst mon in that tier. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it being the same as Gato. So we'll move that down. We can have a nice tier. So this will be our tier list, right? This will be our tier list for OU, Sword and Shield, Smogon OU Mons in Draft League per this guy with a lot of experience, but still could be wrong. Let me know what you think. I will link the tier list in the description below, so you can tell me, and you can show me on Twitter or here or in my Discord, which is also linked in the description, what you think and how you would rank these Mons. Again, other than Mew, these are not in order of how good they are, because I ain't got that kind of time. No. You get your ass back there. Best Mon. But tell me what you think. Let me know what you think of these kind of videos. I didn't make this kind of long, but there was 50 Mons to talk about. So I talked about each of them for about a minute. Not bad. I really had fun with this. So if this does well, if people like to see this kind of stuff, we can do UU next, or we can do NatDex next, or we can do a BDSP, whatever you want. Let me know what your thoughts are, and let me know what you think I should do next. I could do Little Cup 2, whatever. But with that, thank you all for joining me. I really, really appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Make sure you sub so I can get to 400 subs by the end of the year. I really, really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.